Alright, so welcome again here to Fundamentals of Web Design. So we're now on the topic 4. So this is the HTML design and formatting. So in this topic, we will be able to know how to apply some design and how to format your HTML. So using the tags, and also we're going to know how to apply different types of application of CSS in HTML. So first, we have here the HTML colors. So HTML colors are specified with predefined color names or with RGB, X, HSL, RGBA, or HSLA values. So in HTML, a color can be specified by using a color name. So as you can see here, so these are the color names. Examples, we have the tomato, orange, gray, slate blue, so and so on. So we can specify or we can color our HTML with this color name. And then we have background color. So you can set the background color for your HTML element. So as you can see in this example, so we use the style attribute. So and then the property, the background color, and the value. So we use the Dutcher blue for H1, and for paragraph we use the tomato color. That's for okay. Aside from that, we can also set the color of our text. So we already we already applied this, no, the color of our text. So we, as you can see in the H1, nag-apply to tomato color, and then for paragraph, the blue and medium sea green. And also we can also color our border. So you can set the color of your borders. So in this example, so the first hello world, we color it na by tomato, then the second is Dutcher blue, and then violet. So if we try to have that, no, example, so we have already copy ko na ako. So insert this one. So mo ni siya ang one is your codes for this H1. So let's save it and let's try on sa yung output. If same lang siya. Okay, same lang siya, no? Same lang siya. And then so now what if, sir, if kaning border na mag-i-design na nako not a solid line, but instead you can apply a different value. So you can apply either a dash. Pwede naman search on sa mga dash or dotted if it try na to dotted. So try to make this any solid with dash dotted. And the other one would be dash line. So you can change this yung kabag-on for pixels. So let's try sa yung output. Okay, so this one, so this is the output. So in the first we use the dotted, and then the second ipalabaga na to into 4 pixels ang line. So we also use the dash line. Okay, so that's for your border color. Next is the color values. So in HTML, colors are can also be specified using RGB, X, HSL, RGBA, and HSL values. So kung magamit ka RGB, so can use this values. So kung gusto nyo kayo i-specify nimo na ang color mong gusto, so you can also use hexadecimal values. And then the HSL, the U, saturation, and I forgot the L. So you can specify your the values of your color if you want na kung unsay mong gusto na specific na color, you can use this. So we have also so this one also for background color. You can set also your background color using this RGB mga color values. And then what else? Okay, that's for color HTML color. So now let's try to magkuha lang tagamay na an idea. So what is CSS? So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. So this is used to format the layout of a web page. So with CSS, you can control the color, the font, the size of the text, the spacing between elements, how elements are positioned and laid out, what background images or background colors are to be used, different displays for different devices and screen sizes and more. So now, so question, kung sa may kalainan, so what is the difference between we say HTML and CSS? So these two are actually the core technologies for building web pages. Once lang for sa kung mag-build ka web page. So when say HTML, it provides the structure sa imong page. So it create ang actual content sa imong page, such as katong mga written text diha ma-locate sa HTML nimo na file. And then when you say CSS, mo ni siya imong visual or aural layout. So visual, remember mo sa inyong HCI, we have our visual and aural output. So kani siya imong visual and aural layout for a variety of devices. So mo sila ang responsible for the design or the style of your website. So mo na siya so anything na gusto nimo na i-design sa imong website, ito nimo i-control dito sa CSS nimo na file. So while katong HTML dito na mga written text, image na may imong ipangkuan na dito. Bale, ang structure dyan nimo is naa sa HTML, and while ang imong mga design or kuan, imong mga design, imong style naa sa malocate sa CSS naman. So kung i-compare na nimo sa human, ang HTML is your backbone, imong skeletal. So diti pa kay so imagine kung skeletal pa, skeleton, so pangit pa dyan siya, wala kay beauty. So here comes now the CSS. So in order para ma-beautify niyang isa skeleton, you need CSS, CSS para mabut na siya sa mga skin, yung mga color sa yung skin, sa yung eyes. So mao na ang trabaho sa CSS is to beautify or design your web page. Alright, so nakuha ang difference between the HTML and CSS. Okay, so let's proceed now. So using CSS, CSS can be divided to HTML documents in three ways. So there are three, inline and the internal and external CSS. So when you say inline, by using the style attribute inside HTML elements. So when I say HTML ang elements, the inline CSS. So when you say internal CSS, by using a style element in the head section. So in the head, naggamit siya og style inside the head section sa imong HTML. And while the external, it use a link element to link to an external CSS file. So gamit siya link na element, and then dito na makita ang nakalink na imong external CSS file. So nakaseparate siya. Dila siya sa imong HTML file. Right. So inline CSS is used to apply a unique style to a single HTML element. So an inline CSS uses the style attribute of an HTML element. So we already apply this inline CSS from our previous topic. So una sila mga inline CSS, the style na siya sa okay. And then an internal CSS so is used to define the style or a single HTML page. So naa siya sa head, and then within a style element. So nagamit siya, as you can see here, the following example sets the text color of all the H1. So H1 elements on the page to blue, and then text color of all the elements to red. So in addition, the page will display it with the power of blue. So you can see in the inline CSS na siya sa sulod sa imong head na element. Then nag-use siya og style element. So then inanadyan siya ang format sa CSS. So anyway, we'll be dealing with CSS deeper later on this topic. So this as you can see, gikuan niya ang tawag niyang body with the open brace, and it will end with the color bracket, end with open bracket, and open with mag-start siya open bracket and then end with the closing bracket. So as you can see, tawag niya call niya ang body. Ano siya, gi-call niya ang body para designan background color na powder blue. And then for H1, i-call niya ang H1. Kani siya i-designan niya color blue. And then the P, wala siya dayon. So anyway, we'll be tackling more detail later sa CSS. So now we'll proceed with external CSS. So an external style sheet is used. Okay, an external CSS is used. An external style sheet add a link to it in the head section of HTML page. So ang external, so ang external nag-use ka og link, no? As you can see here, the link, and the inside siya sa head. So imo na siyang gilink dahil ang style imong file name sa imong CSS. So that's why naka-separate man imong CSS na file. So mo na siya nakabutang gani. So basically, this is the format for your when you use external CSS. It's the link, then the rel. It's between mo na siya ang gamit for it. It describes the relationship between your external na link. Ano siya? Basically, mo na siya ang syntax kung gamit ka external CSS. Right? Okay. Next, so the external style sheet can be written in any text editor. So the file must not contain any HTML code and must be saved with a CSS extension. So HTML, ang file extension niya is .html, while yours CSS is dot css iyang file. So it should not contain um, any HTML codes sa imong CSS file. So with an external style sheet, you can change the look of an entire website by changing one file. Okay, CSS colors, fonts, and sizes. So here we will demonstrate some commonly used CSS properties. So I think we have already familiar with this one mga properties. We have the color, the font family, the font size. So mo na siya. So if we're going to, as you can see here in the example, nag-use siya of naman internal CSS and gamit mag style. So gi-call niya ang H1. So for H1 iyang gi-color blue and font size family Verdana, font size font family Verdana, font size is 300%. Then we have for the P, mo na siya. So mo na siya ang example na for if you're going to apply CSS colors, fonts, and sizes. And for CSS border, so the CSS border property defines a border around an element. So mga Japon, same. You can border, mga Japon siya, no? Anak lang dyan sa CSS. And then for CSS padding, so the CSS padding property defines a padding space between the text and border. So ang padding mo na siya mo determine sa space sa imong text between sa imong border. Mo na siya ang padding. So same ang Japon sa border. So nagamit din siya property na padding. So kung pila ka ang space pixels, kamo na mag-play around sa imong ang space between the text and the border. Then we have the CSS margin. So from here, so we use the margin property defines the margin space outside the border. So outside the border, margin imong gamiton. Okay, we have link to external CSS. So external style sheets can be referenced with a full URL or with a path relative to the current web page. So this example uses a full URL to link a style sheet. Kung nakakuha nimong CSS file into another nakakuha siya full URL mo na siyang gamiton katong na HTTPS, no? More likely nakasave siya sa internet. Then if your link is located in the HTML folder on the current website, so mo na siya /html then /styles.css. And then for if your link is located in the same folder as the current page, so current page lang siya, then imong kuha ni styles kato na siya, wala na naka solid sa folder. So that's how you will able to locate your link to external CSS. So HTML links. So let's now proceed with the links. So links are found in nearly all web pages. So links allow users to click their way from page to page. So HTML links or the hyperlinks. So you can click on a link and jump to another document. So when you move the mouse over a link, the mouse arrow will turn into a little hand. So I think we're familiar with this link. So the syntax, A tags, no? For the link, we discussed this one. So So this so no need to discuss this. So ano na lang. By default, so links will appear as follows in all browsers. So katong wala na visit na link, it is underlined and blue. A visited link, kung na-visit na or na-click na siya, mag-underline na siya and the color will turn to purple. An active link is underlined and red. Okay, HTML links, the target attribute. So, unsa man yung target attribute? So, by default, so the link page will be displayed in the current browser window. To change this, so you must specify another target for the link. So, the target attribute specifies where to open the link document. So, the target attribute can have one of the following values. So, kaning target, mo na siya ang gamit kung once maklik nimo ang link, so makabantay mo na mag-open mo siya window, no? Or nara siya sa the same tab ang kuan, or nara siya sa iyang same open siya sa same tab or sa iyang self lang ang kuan, ang link. So kung self siya, mo na siya underscore self, so iyang mo siyang default, so opens the document in the same window or tab as it was clicked, and kani siyang blank opens the document in a new window or tab, and the parent opens the document in the parent frame kung gamit kang frame, then the top opens the document in the full body of the window. So let's try to focus in the cells in the blank. So ang parent kay maggamit na permanent frame. So let's try raw bit. So let's try a link href href https www.facebook.com. Okay, let's hit this node, the target, then target ano sa yung target, ito yung target itself is ang default niya is self, so okay, so tayo Facebook close A. Okay, let's try to save this one. Let's see yung sa iyang output. So if we're going to click this Facebook, so basically mo open na siya, dani ra siya na kon. See, not found. Wala internet. Okay. So, mo to siya. Dani ra siya same na kon. Well, kung magamit ka target ano? Gamit ka target blank. See? Ayan. Ito na itong blank. Okay, refresh and then mag-open siya window. Another window, right? So, see? Open siya another window. Dili siya dani. So, katong kuan self, dani ra siya. Same na tab. Ang while katong target, mo-open siya another window. So, you see the difference now? Okay. So, let's not focus as a focus ng tanang duwa kay wala pa sa frame. Kanina gamit for frame. Okay, let's proceed. So now we're talking about absolute URLs versus relative URLs. So sa kalainan nila. So both examples about so ganiha. So our URL using a full web address. So a local link, a link to a page within the same website specified with a relative URL without the HTTPS na part. So ang absolute, ang difference yun yan, no? Absolute kato yung complete full web address niya kung na HTTPS, while ang relative wala siya kanina part HTTPS and www. Okay, so see the difference now. Okay. Next is HTML links. Okay, you can use an image as a link. So to use an image as a link, just put the img tag inside. So kung naman yun nato use na nato, then it can also link to an email address. So you'll just have to use the mail to inside the href attribute to create a link that opens the user's email program to let them send an email. So you just have to use the mail to kung saan mo padulong send ang email. So that's the link to an email address. So also we have button as a link. Okay, you can also link the button here. So to use an HTML button as a link, you have to add some JavaScript code. Allows you to specify what happens at certain events such as the click of a button. So magamit ka mga JavaScript like this one on click. This is a JavaScript. So anyway, we'll be tackling this on the after midterm. So next we have the link titles. So the title attributes specify extra information about an element. So the information is most often shown as a tooltip text when the mouse moves over the element. Okay. The next is so more on absolute URLs and relative URLs. So I think let's proceed with another. Okay, we're done with the link. Okay, now we're on the list. So HTML lists allow web developers to group a set of related items in list. So we have the unordered HTML list and the ordered HTML list. Unordered and the ordered list. Okay, what is an ordered list? So an ordered list starts with the UL tag, and each list item starts with the LI tag. So the list items will be marked with bullet, small black circles by default. So ang unordered daw mag-start siya sa UL tag, and iya din mga item starts with the LI. So you end it with close LI. So muna siya ang format sa unordered list. So ang default din niya is the button. I mean the bullet. So for ordered list, so mag-start siya UL, and then same lang Japan ng item is LI. So ang default niya is by number. Same lang, nakalain lang sa ang nakalain lang is OL, ilang dani. OL ang unordered is UL, ang ordered is O. Okay, OL. Then next is we have also HTML description list. So HTML also supports a description list. Description list is a list of terms with a description of each term. So the DL tag defines the description list, the DT tag defines the term name, and the DD tag describes each term. So as you can see, gamit ka DL for description, and then the DT your tag ang mga term. Then yan ang DT is your description. Tama ba? Description. Ano lang. Coffee, term, and description din niya. Magbutang ka description. So that's menu type, right? So that's the HTML list, description list. Okay, next is so here, one is lang summary sa HTML list tag. So the UL defines an ordered list, the UL defines an ordered list, the LI defines a list item. So isulod sa UL, the UL and OL, nakasulod dito LI. Or DL defines the description list. So imo ding DT is your defines a term in the description list, and your DD describes the term in a description list. Okay, we're done with the list. Now we'll proceed with the images. So images can improve the design and appearance of a web page. So basically, gamit ka dani og mga images. And then, so HTML images syntax. Ang mauna to no, ang img. Then we have the attribute niya and the source, src. And then so I think we already know that. So the source, so kabalo na taning source. Let's skip this one. Then and also with the out. So out provides mention alternative text frame image. Already used that. Next is the image size, width and height. Also na demonstrate na apply na ni nato sa image. Next is width and height or style. So the width and height and style attributes are all valid in HTML. However, we suggest using the style attribute. It prevents style sheets from changing the size of image. So you have to use the as suggested. You have to use the style. So you have to call the img tag here, okay, para change yung width. Alright, use siya of an inline internal CSS. Alright, next is so images in another folder. So if you have your images in a subfolder, you must include the folder name in the source attribute. So for example here, imong image html5.gif naka save siya sa images na folder, so you include the images. You start with the / bali, then images, then again siya images on another server. Kung sa server good siya, so you include the URL of the server. So for animated images, same lang Japan. For images sa link, so for Japan gamit to, ang image isulod din sa link. Okay, then image floating. So image floating, the image floating, use the CSS float property to let the image float to the right or so. Basically, imo na siyang i-arrange, either float mo siya sa right or sa left imong image. That's the image float, CSS float. So common image formats. So here are the most common image file format types which are supported in all browsers. So Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari. So these are the common file image formats. Okay, I guess we're done with the topic 4. So to wrap it up, we're able to discuss the HTML color, some CSS, the inline, the internal and the external CSS, and then also tackle the links, the HTML link, and the image, and then the list. the order list and the description list. So let's for the next topic. So we'll be discussing another HTML element and tag. Okay. Thank you so much for your time, class, for today. So hope you will see you again on the next topic. Just remember the difference between the impossible and the possible lies in a man's determination. That's by Tommy Dasu. So thank you everyone. So have a great day ahead.